When was the last time that you stopped and made a conscious choice about how you're speaking to yourself? And I don't mean fluffing it up and exaggerating it and pumping yourself up. What I mean is actually speaking to yourself in a way that resources you, that supports you, that is kind, that is helpful. My name's Jules Wyman and I'm a confidence fanatic. I'm a confidence coach and speaker on the topic of confidence, and it's something that I really could bang on about for weeks and months because I think we've got an interesting relationship with the word, and quite often we misunderstand it. And if you're a regular to my channel, if you subscribe, hint hint, to the channel here on YouTube, then you will see that I quite often talk about confidence killers. And it's those little nuances, those little things that we're not even aware that we're doing that make a big difference and impact on our perception of confidence and our perception of ourselves. And one of those confidence killers is language. And we quite often will not even think about how we're speaking and the words that come out of our mouth in relation to other people. And we think even less consciously about the words that are flying around in here and the impact that they could be having on us. And I've done various studies and research, not me personally, learned from other people over the years, understanding language and the impact that it has on confidence, and thoroughly enjoying reading Andrew Newberg and Mark Robert Wahlberg's book, Words Can Change Your Brain. And it's a neuroscience look at language and the impact that it has on us. Now, there are so many studies about, from a positive psychology perspective, from a neuroscience perspective, and so many different angles that are backing up the impact of not just the words that come out of here, but we really need to think about what's going on up here. And unfortunately, our brains are wired in a way that we look for the negativity because we're looking to protect ourselves. There's that part of our brain that's looking to keep us safe. So we're going to react to a word like no, because there's that primal part of the brain that's looking for safety. So actually to look for the yes isn't as easy to do, and it's something that we have to consciously make an effort to do. But what we don't realize is unless we make that effort, then this stuff is just running around in our heads using all kinds of language and impacting on our confidence. Now, I know that for some people, they then think that they have to go to the other extreme and it becomes all rah and I'm awesome and I rock and I'm the best and all that kind of hoopla. And in my personal experience, but also it's backed up with neuroscience in this book, is that it says that also has a negative impact because there's the part of the brain that doesn't have a connection with the realism of the exaggeration. And there's other videos on the channel, hint hint, subscribe, that also talk about exaggeration and the impact of exaggeration. So as a confidence killer, look at your language, because the language that you could be using unconsciously up here, especially in relation to yourself, could be really impacting how you feel and how you think, and therefore the results that you will achieve. So I'm not going to give you a prescriptive way of, you need to use this word, and this word. But there are various words to really listen for that aren't helpful. So it is listening to the kind of the quick responses, which is I can't do that, it's not possible, I've always got it wrong before, and actually sit with that and challenge it and question yourself, actually, could I? Where have I done something like that in the past? Or even, I have done things in the past that I've never done before, and yet I've found a way, or I've learned, or somebody's taught me or supported me. So when you hear that automatic I can't or no, it's not possible, is actually sit with that and start to question it, start to challenge it, look for whether there is any logic behind it or whether it's just a default that's kicked in, because unconsciously that could be stopping you from having a go at things, taking opportunities, even looking for the possibilities that life has to offer. Another thing that I would suggest that would be really beneficial to look at is to look for where you're seeing problems or you're experiencing problems and dialoguing that way and making them really big. And I know that that's something that this brain that I've got between these ears has a propensity to do is that somebody will make a suggestion, for example, and I know it's kind of a cliche kind of thing, but let's say, for example, they might, you need to write a book. Now I know that this brain immediately goes into seeing an end book and then just thinks, oh my gosh, how much work is in that? I haven't got the time, can't do it. And then just immediately shuts down. Rather than looking at, okay, well, yeah, I could write a book. Okay, how is that possible? And then stepping it back from that point, that end goal, to look at, okay, what can I do from here? And it might be that now's not the right time. And actually, I need to schedule that for a month's time, next week, whenever it may be. It is the cliche of you can't eat a whole elephant, you've got to put it into the chunks, which I always find a bizarre analogy for a vegetarian to use. But it is about breaking things down into those manageable steps. And the simple phrase that I use for myself is, okay, what can I do? What can I do from this place here? So I'll stick with the book analogy. Okay, I haven't got the time right now to dedicate to writing the book. However, when ideas pop up, I could have a folder that I drop those into, or I could just spend 15 minutes a day and just jot down any ideas that I've got. So I can do those things. I don't have to keep pushing things off. So be mindful that language that we use tends to make something into a really big, huge mountain that doesn't look possible for us to achieve. So make it as small and easily attainable as possible. Be really aware of your language, because it is a confidence killer, and I'm pretty sure that this isn't going to be the last video that I make on this topic. And as more neuroscience research comes out, not just on this topic, but actually getting to understand how this thing up here works, we can back up the information that has been around for thousands of years, quite honestly. But sometimes we like to, as human beings, have some research to back it up, have some studies there that show how it all works and how it's all put together. So if you really want to start building your confidence, be mindful of your language, how you're speaking to yourself, and recognize that unfortunately it is part of the brain's process to go towards the problem and the no. And your job is to actually look for the opposite as well and start to train it that there is another possibility too. So make sure that you do subscribe. Come on, this is the third time I've nudged you now. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to find out more information and grab some more details, blog posts, etc., then head over to juleswyman.com. And I look forward to sharing more confidence killers and other videos with you. Speak to you soon. Bye.